Discover the secrets to developing a prosperity consciousness. The ancient metaphysical book of Mrs. Conny Mendez explains how we can easily access wealth if we understand the principles that create it. Mrs. Mendez also provides affirmations and exercises to manifest abundance in our lives. Stay till the end and listen closely. It is not a crime to be rich, and there is no virtue in being poor, as the reformers have led us to believe. Evil consists of blocking the flow of money and preventing it from circulating freely to those that need it. The saviors of a country are those who use their wealth to benefit the well-being of the masses. If everyone had what we call a poverty conscience, poverty will be as widespread as it is in India. In China, millions of people are trapped by the thought of their poverty. They suffer from poverty in all its forms, from birth to death. The weight of the thought of how poor Africa is causes thousands to die of hunger every year. We must first develop an awareness of prosperity. We must start rejecting all the old and false ideas of scarcity, dependency, and clogged channels of abundance. The idea that something is expensive comes from the state of our finances. We compare the cost of something with the amount we possess and instantly decide whether we can afford it or not. The product seems expensive if our assets are small. We do not consider the cost of the product if we have a lot of money. We purchase it. The issue is that the object is expensive, but that the financial consciousness of the person is poor. If you think merchants ask for too much money for certain products, I repeat that if you have many millions to spend, it would not even occur to you to consider if the price of the merchant is too high. Therefore, the problem is not scarcity, but the state of your finances, which depends on the state of your financial consciousness. Perhaps today, the issue is money and what you can or cannot afford. Many people can relate that when they were young, they asked their parents to buy something for them and their parents complained. The lack of money is immediately perceived as a monster that denies, interrupts, and spoils everything. This ogre takes delight in seeing us deprived until we end up resigned to fate with our heads down. Few people can say that parents said, "Let us assume God wants to give it to us and that He is waiting for the perfect moment to surprise us." This is the thought I want you to memorize today and repeat mentally or out loud whenever you have a desire or need and find yourself comparing what you have in your wallet with the cost of what you desire. Know that God wants to give it to you and that He is only waiting for you to form a prosperity consciousness gradually, so that He can surprise you at the perfect moment. You already know that in the Spirit, everything is given, granted, and waiting for us to claim it, which is why we teach and encourage thanksgiving before it appears. However, this idea often eludes the subconscious. The subconscious has no discernment. Your word is its law. It hears what you say, sees your thoughts, and the image you create in your mind. It then strives to comply with your orders as soon as possible. The only thing that can shake the subconscious is the voice of the higher self. The high vibrations of truth can crumble what is petrified in the subconscious, and it would take years as psychoanalysts to uncover these beliefs. Even then, the psychoanalyst would tell you that if the problem is not replaced with a new belief, it will relapse into the same issue. That is why metaphysics first denies evil and then affirms the truth. It gradually replaces what is being erased with the highest and most powerful truth, which will never have to be erased. The simple childish affirmation that I ask you to memorize contains a triple intention. The first is that you form the idea that everything comes from God, that is, from the divine substance, and that those ideas are gradually removed from the abundance channels. Your abundance channels are the salary you receive or the organization where you work. The abundance channels are the businesses or the farms of your father or husband that produce your income if you do not need to work. In short, it is anything that provides you with money or take care of your expenses. The entire human race is accustomed to thinking that if these channels fail, it would lead to ruin. Few people realize that the channels of prosperity and abundance are infinite because they belong to God. They ignore what you already know, that every need is equipped with the material required to fulfill it. Supply and demand are two opposite things, but in truth, supply and demand are the same things. The second intention of the statement I gave is that you get used to the fact that God's will is magnanimous. In other words, God wants you to have what you need and desire. Take advantage of it now, not a minute before, not a minute later. If you have been yearning for something you lack for years, it means that what you have been yearning for has been trying to reach you for the same number of years. You have received it, but your subconscious mind is rejecting it and making it wait to implement the order you gave it. Your mind tells you it would be impossible to fulfill your wish because you consider it too expensive, prohibited, or impossible. The Bible explains this by saying God has given you all the land where you put your foot. Foot is a symbol of understanding, and inheriting land is a symbol of manifestation. This perfect phrase means every manifestation which you can conceive of is yours. The inheritance is yours by right. No one can take it away from you. The third intention of the affirmation is in the sentence, and it is only waiting for the perfect moment to surprise us. Often, students realize they do not get a demonstration as quickly as they expect, and they complain to me. They almost blame me for failing, as if I made promises to them and broke them. This attitude is childish. It is evidence of the bad nurturing their parents gave them as children. It proves that they were spoiled children who were never denied or deprived of anything. The manifestation is always done and ready to appear. It is just waiting for the right time. Countless reasons obstruct the manifestation or destroy the opportune moment, and the manifestation has to wait for another opportune time. One of the most common and current reasons is inconsistency. It is the lack of firmness once it has been invoked and the treatment has been done. It is also when the student feels doubts, given into the temptation to talk about it, or speaks concepts that deny the truth declared by the treatment. All this is very natural. Be patient with the delay in the manifestation. You are not perfect. You are still learning. Your subconscious mind is not to blame for being slow because it is influenced by old ideas and customs. Another common mistake is thinking that you must repeat the treatment for effectiveness. It is like constantly opening the oven to turn a cake with a spoon. The treatment should be done once and as good as possible. The truth should be declared and thanks should be given. Then what's left for the manifestation is the realization. When you think of what you need and it has not yet manifested, you can do what Emmett Fox called giving the treatment. This means acknowledging that the treatment has been done and not worrying about it. You can give thanks as much as you want and reaffirm the manifestation, replacing and giving thanks to God for everything. When you give someone a surprise gift or when they surprise you, it is a surprise. Even if someone gives you something you've always wanted, the act surprises you and makes you happy. The treatment phase makes you anticipate the surprise that will come to you. God will give it when you least expect it. It is the keen expectation, the faith that moves mountains. Do not confuse faith with hope. Hope is a poor substitute for faith, says Emmett. Faith and hope are different. Faith is a joyful expectation, but hope comes with doubt and anxiety. I have heard that 2 of my students were short of money. You can be spiritually advanced and still not have prosperity consciousness, just as it is possible to have a strong prosperity consciousness and not be spiritual. One aspect of life may have developed while the other has been ignored. When a lack of abundance is manifesting, you must work on that aspect and meditate on abundance. As I told one of my disciples recently, when people do not think about their scarcity, abundance manifests itself even in the jungles and mountains. The Fillmore teacher also says, the anguished thought has to be eliminated and the perfect trust of nature has to be adopted. When this attitude is combined with the realization that you have unlimited resources, the divine law of prosperity will have been fulfilled. To cultivate an attitude of abundance, you must meditate on the manifestation of divine abundance and examine yourself to identify unconscious beliefs that could be blocking prosperity. It is important to affirm that we are the heirs of all things that God possesses, and not only does He want us to manifest wealth and satisfaction, but that wish the same for us as for humanity as well. No one wants to deprive us because of all humanity is part of God, and God is not divided into conflicting parts. There is a way to fix immediate financial needs. It is not a solution for long-term abundance, but it can help in the short term. Imagine receiving so much money that you do not know what to do with it at all. Visualize yourself filling your wallet, depositing in the bank, distributing it to others, and feeling satisfied that you can give and make others happy. Repeat this visualization several times until the subconscious is impressed and reproduces it, until you touch the bills and coins. Do not worry where the money will come from. Tell God about your need and trust that His channels for abundance are infinite and unexpected. Remember to insist that the money comes perfectly under the grace. Please visit the link in the description to receive more secrets of abundance.